Welcome to the City of Arlington's Automotive Related Business informational video. Within the City of Arlington, automotive related businesses that have reasonable likelihood of introducing pollutants such as trash, oil, paint, and other hazardous materials to the local environment or waterway are required to comply with state and local stormwater regulations. Under these regulations, the City of Arlington is required to inspect appropriate automotive related businesses to ensure compliance, provide education, document violations, and when necessary, issue fees, fines, or citations. You can find detailed ordinance information and specific requirements on the City of Arlington webpage. Stormwater regulations were designed to prevent the discharge of contaminated stormwater runoff from industrial, commercial, residential, and construction sites within the city waterways and local environments. In this video, we are going to go over best management practices for pollution prevention and how to ensure your auto-related business is compliant with local and state stormwater requirements. By the end of this video, you should be familiar with the type of businesses that fall under the Automotive Related Business program within the City of Arlington, required documentation and record keeping for ARBs, what to expect during a facility inspection, and common pollution prevention practices used to defend against the discharge of chemicals, trash, and pollutants from automotive related businesses. First, let's identify the type of businesses regulated under the ARB program. The ARB program includes the following automotive related activities: automotive salvage or holding yards, including inoperable vehicle holding yards, new or used automobile sales, rentals, or leasing, automotive parts sales, new or used, including but not limited to tires, tubes, engines, transmissions, exhaust systems, radiators, brakes, and body parts, or any aftermarket or replacement parts. Automotive repair or replacement shops, including but not limited to tires, tubes, engines, transmissions, exhaust systems, radiators, brakes, and bodies, as well as automotive front end alignment shops, automotive paint and body shops, automotive oil change and lubrication shops, automotive washing, cleaning, polishing, and detailing with the exception of self-serve car washes, and automotive machine shops. City of Arlington staff are required to perform on-site facility inspections. Facility inspections are not scheduled to business ahead of time, since compliance with the city and state stormwater regulations are expected to be followed at all times. Prepare for your facility inspection and protect local stormwater year-round by maintaining 4 areas of concern: proper documentation, proper spill response and prevention, proper waste management, and proper maintenance. During a facility inspection, COA staff will need to review the following materials: certificate of occupancy, manifests, and if required for your facility, auto salvage license, scrap tire registration, and any other state required permit or documentation. All facilities operating within the City of Arlington are required to have an active certificate of occupancy. This certificate of occupancy issued by the City of Arlington for automotive related businesses shall be plainly displayed on the business premises, and activities on the premises must match the activities stated on the certificate of occupancy. Auto salvage yards are required to have an active automobile salvage license from the Texas Department of Motor Vehicles or another authorized licensor. ARBs need to register with the TCEQ if they store more than 500 tires either on the ground or in locked containers, trailers, and buildings. ARBs that store more than 500 used or scrap tires on the ground or more than 2,000 in enclosed and lockable containers are required to also register as a scrap tire storage site with the TCEQ. ARBs that store more than 500 used or scrap tires or the weight equivalent tire pieces or combination of whole tires and pieces are not required to register as a scrap tire generator if all tires are stored at the location where they are generated. All facilities that generate, transport, or retail used or scrap tires must have a waste tire generator identification from the State Environmental Regulatory Authority. An up-to-date list of registered tire waste transporters can be found on the TCEQ website. ARBs must keep appropriate manifests for regulated waste such as hazard waste, used oil, oil filters, antifreeze, tire transport, and liquid waste manifests. Manifests should be organized and kept on site for easy access and reviewed during an inspection. The TCEQ identifies the following as regulated waste: tire waste, scrap metal waste, batteries and battery materials, used filters, hazardous waste. Regulated liquid waste includes grease, septic, sand and oil, chemical toilet. Please be aware, ARBs are required to utilize City of Arlington's permitted liquid waste haulers. Any liquid waste transporter operating without a permit or any person employing the services of a non-permitted liquid waste hauler is in violation of the city ordinance and is subject to enforcement action. Please note the list of city permitted liquid waste haulers is updated annually. Take the time to review the updated permitted liquid waste transporter list yearly to ensure compliance with city ordinances. The TCEQ State Environmental Agency requires ARBs to utilize a registered and active used oil handler to transport more than 55 gallons of used oil. Hazardous and industrial waste must be transported by a TCEQ registered hazardous industrial waste transporter. Take the time to review the appropriate TCEQ registered waste transporters list yearly to ensure compliance with state ordinances. During a facility inspection, staff will tour the facility and identify proper spill response and prevention practices. Spills are bound to occur even at the best facility. Spills or leaks of hazardous materials must be cleaned up immediately after a spill is identified. Facilities should keep spill response supplies on hand and, when possible, use dry cleanup methods such as absorbent litter, absorbent pads, and booms. After responding to a spill within the facility, all spill response material shall be swiftly and properly disposed of as regulated waste. Never hose down spilled materials into a storm drain or the exterior environment. If water is used to clean a spill or leak, the wastewater must be collected for appropriate disposal. Place drip pans or absorbent material under leaks and breaks to contain the waste. Make sure to properly dispose the material in appropriate containers, and inspect tanks, vehicles, and storage materials for leaks. At no point should wastewater that has come into contact with chemicals or hazardous materials should be stored or disposed of in outdoors or in the local environment. Regulated wastewater should be collected, stored in a closed and labeled container to be picked up by the appropriate waste hauler. If a spill happens outside of the facility, immediate spill response is required and the spill should be stopped, blocked, or dammed to prevent the material from entering a storm drain, street, creek, or waterway. If the spill takes place on soil or vegetation, the contaminated soil should be removed and properly disposed of by an appropriate waste hauler. For an ARB to stay in compliance, it is necessary for facility managers to have a correct understanding of chemical storage and waste disposal needs for their facility. All chemicals, hazardous materials, and industrial waste shall be sorted and disposed of in accordance with local, state, and federal regulations. Any discarded hazardous or other regulated liquid, semi-liquid, or solid waste may not accumulate or be present beyond the time frames established in state and or federal regulations. Combustible materials of any kind that is not necessary or beneficial to the business or material that becomes a fire hazard are prohibited. Facilities should implement routine maintenance practices to ensure that the facility properly manages its waste, reduces fire hazards, and stays in compliance with city, state, and federal stormwater regulations. As you may already know, proper maintenance is an ongoing effort for any facility. Routine maintenance and pollution prevention habits may include maintaining well-stocked spill kits and posting spill response procedures in clear view to be utilized if necessary. Review your facility pollution prevention procedures as part of your opening, shift change, and closing routines. Conduct annual pollution prevention and spill cleanup trainings for all staff. Maintain a training log and training materials on site. Develop a tracking system for all records and ensure all staff are aware of its location and how to access records if needed. Maintain manifest and ticket documentation for at least 3 years and have them readily available for inspections. Make sure that containers with chemicals, automotive fluids, and any in-use containers are never stored outside, exposed to the environment. Make sure to secure drums stored in an area where unauthorized persons may not gain access to prevent accidental spillage, theft, or unauthorized use. Check all drums or containers containing waste for the appropriate labels as required by state and federal regulations. Containers used for waste collection must be in good condition with the proper lids and or bunks. Check that all drums or other containers used for the storage of regulated materials are marked with the name, address, and phone number of the business. When it comes to litter, all trash and debris should be contained in trash cans or dumpsters from an approved waste service. Always check your trash receptacles to ensure that the lid is always closed when not in use to prevent the contents from being exposed to the rain. All discharges from vehicle washing facilities must flow to the sanitary sewer system through an approved sand or grit trap. Automotive salvage licenses outline the specific areas where salvage cars or parts can be stored. Be sure to train staff on the proper storage locations for your yard, and when possible, clear mark areas where vehicles are not allowed to be stored. Salvage materials stored outside of the designed areas are a violation of the ARB ordinance, and this could lead to enforcement measures. City staff inspects facilities for compliance, and this may result in enforcement measures. Activities that are in violation of the ARB ordinance include, but are not limited to, burning automobiles or parts on the premises, allowing junk, parts, or vehicles to rest on any storm drain or to enter the MS4 stormwater system, allowing debris to accumulate outside of an approved container, allowing wastewater from vehicle or vehicle parts to discharge into the stormwater system, allowing the paint or chemical contaminated wastewater to discharge to the stormwater sewer system. Education is key to maintaining a compliant ARB facility. Train all employees on proper best management practices, proper record keeping, pollution prevention measures, spill cleanup procedures, and the locations of spill response equipment. Procedures should include proper handling techniques and storage of chemical materials. Facility monitoring should include routine facility reviews, which should include checking secondary containment systems for liquid materials or impacts to the surrounding areas, confirming that materials stored outside are covered and will not mix with rain or stormwater runoff. When performing a facility review, be on the lookout for prohibited discharges, such as automotive fluids, trash and litter, or illegal dumping that may have occurred at your facility. Ensure that all waste and waste materials are properly disposed of, and when required, update your facility records to show continued compliance. Review local and state ordinances and regulations before disposing of new waste materials. Facilities can find the full list of prohibited stormwater discharges in the City of Arlington Stormwater Pollution Control Ordinance. Thank you for taking the time and effort to review the City of Arlington's Automotive Related Business informational video. You have completed the first step in maintaining compliance, reducing impacts to the local environment, and reducing the chances of receiving a violation. For more information on the City of Arlington's ARB program, you can contact the Environmental Management at 817-459-6550 or send an email to environmental@arlingtontx.gov.